Yay! Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Well, welcome to Women in the Nude, where we expose ourselves. Wait, that sounded weird. See, this is the thing, is it's
Now you
editable.
can edit it. Perfect.
Welcome to Women in the Nude, where we expose everything except for our bodies. We'll leave that to your imagination. I'm so excited for this episode. My best friend in the whole entire world is my guest. Her name is Jai-Lynne. If you have followed me at all over the years, you will know who she is because she's been a part of my life for more than half my life, which is amazing. I
Oh,
love her so much. She has so much to offer the world and women in general. I'm just so excited that it worked out to have Jai-Lynne Rubio on my
of
podcast.
course. I'm
I could
honored
talk
that
to
you
her.
me.
I mean, seriously, I mean, we talk, I mean, essentially every day, but
Yeah.
we could talk for hours. And so this is the thing that's hard about a podcast is like, obviously I know you intimately, but everyone else doesn't. So I have to ask you all these questions that I already know, but I'm so excited because you are just one of the most incredible women I've ever met and will ever meet. But I've seen you at your like most vulnerable and most powerful moments, and it makes me love you and appreciate you even more because of how incredible you are, and just what a
Oh,
light you are in the world. So there's a lot to cover, but I guess first we should start with how we met.
yes.
And yes, sorry, and yes, Jai-Lynne, you can say hi.
Hello, podcast followers. I'm nervous. I was telling Sasha I've never been on a podcast. Obviously, I mean, this is probably
No,
my one and only, so I want to make it memorable and good.
I mean, you could literally say nothing and you'd be memorable. You're just so wonderful and beautiful. And
True.
um, Jai-Lynne and I met at church when
Yes.
I was 8 and a bit.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think I
maybe
was
8, 9.
11. Yes.
Yeah, we
11.
were super cool. We would go to the mall, and we have a collection of those Polaroid strips from those really cute little photo booths.
Yes. Which are
I still
still,
have mine.
yes, in my bedroom in Valencia. They're still all
Yeah.
lined up on my dresser. Just I refuse to take them down. They're so
It was
sweet
so
and,
sweet. I know. We
just
were so little. Oh my gosh, we were little.
so little.
So little.
It's the only
And
thing
so,
you can do, as a
yeah,
9 and 11-year-old. You go to the mall and you take
we
pictures
know.
at the photo
Yeah.
booth. Yeah.
It's a little tradition. And we call ourselves BBF, which
Mhm.
is not a typo if you've
Not
ever
a
heard us
typo,
say it
which I'm
or
sure
read it. Yeah,
everyone thinks it's probably a typo. It's intentional.
probably. It's stands for beautiful best friend, and we've called each other that since we were little, and we still do. And
Still
so
do.
every time there's an introduction, we're like, oh, all right, BBF,
BBF.
beautiful best friend. Yeah.
Yes, so
But
special.
it's one of my favorite things.
I know. In lieu of the name, we just address each other as BBF, and I
Yeah.
love that. Yes. But yes, that's how we met. I do want to share that something that a lot of people probably don't know is I actually met Hudson first.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, so I met Hudson at the same church, probably just a year prior. It's only 1 year, but but
Still.
met year, and yeah, Hudson and I became friends, and Sasha entered the picture, and the rest is history.
So we call each other the triangle, or the
Yes.
three of us, we call each other the trio, the triangle, because I've known Jai-Lynne for 1 year
Mhm.
longer than I've known Hudson, and Hudson has known Jai-Lynne obviously for a year longer than he's known me. So we're like the little trifecta here. And
Mhm.
that's what was so cool about you officiating our wedding, not
Mhm.
only because you're our best friend, but because it was just kind of this symbol of, the three of us and our journey through life, which is just so neat. And now you're my Nina, or
Yep.
Hendrix's Nina.
Hendrix is Ninang. What an honor. I love being his Ninang. For those who don't
He
know,
loves you.
Ninang is godmother in Tagalog, which is the language of the Philippines. And I just love that he calls me that and has a piece of, Filipino culture in him. It's the
I
best.
do too, and he absolutely adores you. It's the
Yeah.
sweetest thing.
Well, he adores
Um,
everyone. That doesn't say much because he is an
no,
angel. Yes.
he's definitely getting more and more. How do I put it?
Selective. Just
Yeah, for sure. No, he's friendly to everybody, but like
yeah.
who he actually wants to spend time with, he's definitely more. specific about, and you come up a lot,
Yeah.
like
Well,
in Ninong, and like your voice or your picture, like he lights up. I'm
before he
serious.
could
Yeah,
say, yeah, that's so sweet, but I wanted to share that before he could even say Ninang, he was saying ni, which was so cute. It's still to this day, every time he says Ninang, just the best voice in the world to hear it
it's
from.
yeah. I mean, I'm biased, but yeah, it is. It's really sweet.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really,
cute.
really sweet.
Yep, I love him. Almost 3. My goodness. 3 and
So
half
crazy.
my size.
Yeah,
So tall. Such a
he's
Sheaffer.
so tall. We need to go and we need to go take him to the pediatrician for his 3-year appointment, and I'm really curious to see what percentile he's in now in height,
Yeah, you have to let me know.
because last time it was 97th percentile, and I feel like it's probably gonna be around the same, maybe even a little higher, because I mean, he's
I
crazy.
know.
It's crazy how tall he is.
Yeah.
Not that crazy considering
Not that
Hudson's so
crazy.
tall. It's
Dad's like,
so weird to see your 3-year-old like, above the island sort of a thing.
yes,
Yeah,
more than
it's
half my size when he comes up to me just at my birthday, and he came to Hawaii for my birthday, and
so
already
crazy.
half my size. So how much more now? But yeah, I can't wait to see him in a few weeks. I love him.
So I was just thinking about like where to start with you in particular, because I could talk about us and our friendship forever, but like
Yes.
I still distinctly remember, obviously your prom photos and I just like select things. But when we went to Disneyland, that was a really fun trip, just you and me, but well, and your family. But the significant the
I have to
significant
bring
moment
that
because I
up
know I just mean like all
because
of
it
that.
was my whole big
It
Filipino
was
family with
I know it
my
was amazing.
ninang, my uncle
I
and my
know.
cousin Ia, and there's this one beautiful blonde girl in a pack of 20 Filipinos deep.
Well, so Jay-Lynn's
So yes,
dad
just
calls
me
me
and you.
his white daughter, and it's such an honor. It really
Yes,
is. I love your dad
my
so much.
dad says, "How's my white daughter doing?" And I'm like, "She's great, thriving." But
I
I
love
love
her
it
so
to this
much.
day.
She's
Still calls you
very.
their white daughter. Yes, it's the
It's
best.
so sweet.
Yep.
Um,
Sorry,
but
I
I
didn't mean to cut you
remember.
off, DBF.
Oh no. I remember your 18th birthday, and then like the realization that you're not going to be in Valencia for that you're like going to college,
Hmm.
and that was such a crazy time. It's like, oh my gosh, Jalen's going to college.
I know. I know. Uh,
And Hudson and I never went to college. Actually, that's a lie. Poor Hudson. Hudson did go to college. He
yes.
dropped
Yes.
out. But
Did something else. Pursued a different passion.
yes,
Yes.
obviously your path was always destined for something incredible. And I was so just like I don't even know how to put it. I was just so excited for you and like the new journey that you were going to go on. And not ever knowing that I wasn't probably ever going to experience the college experience. I got to kind of vicariously experience that through you.
Okay, you did in a weird way.
I
In an
yeah, I
unconventional
did
way. Not weird.
in the unconventional,
Yeah.
untraditional party sense.
Yeah.
That's a different podcast.
That's a different
Um,
topic. Yes.
but seeing both like simultaneously you grow into your own person in both a social way and uh, in your your potential career and what you wanted to move forward with was so exciting as a best friend, because I know how amazing you are and your potential, and just that like baby step into adulthood. um it was just so cool to witness um you grow, and that's like, and that was just only like, you know the beginning. It was just the first like baby step into that. And I
Definitely.
guess what made you okay, so this is what's hard about having your best friend on a podcast, is that like I'm so fragmented because it's stuff that I already know. I'm like, oh wait, I have to fill everybody.
Yeah.
Where do we start? We're bouncing around here. I guess maybe it's, why don't you talk about, or if you want to explain, how, your college experience, like from the beginning.
Sure.
And I'll
From the
butt in
beginning.
when I want to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great start to it, saying that it was the first step into really growing into my own college at the outset. So I went to San Diego State, and it's what got me here now. So that was the school I, enrolled for. I knew I was going there, in the fall. upon graduating high school. And I will say I was excited, but I was so close to my family, in Valencia, and you know how close I am with them. And you were in Valencia, right? My best friend and everything I've ever known, which, it's a similar tale for most, right? But I was nervous. I, haven't ever been that far away from home. It was going to be a whole new world, and it was hard. I'm not going to sit here and say as soon as I got there, I wanted the freedom. I wanted all the things that college is about. It was hard. I remember, crying when my parents and my brother dropped me off, crying and just, missing them almost immediately. At that point, I was still driving home to Valencia, which is about 3.5 hours every weekend, not really, immersing and fully getting that college experience. Because if you go home, you're really missing a big part of what it is to be on your own and meeting new people and, just growing up. But luckily, like, right friends are put into your path. And you know this because I now know he's one of your best friends, but met my best friend, my other best friend, John, who really changed, everything for me, and just um, really opening up what college could be in sort of community and learning how to be more independent and just really, being one with college. Sorry,
And
that was a, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, and John, so yes, our mutual friend, John
Mhm.
Fontes,
Yeah.
is also an incredible human.
Yes.
And like John and our other group of friends from Jay-Lynne's college.
Yes.
I don't know how to, I want to
P7.
say college friends. Yeah, T7. I want to say college friends,
College
but
friends.
I guess I'm just going to say college friends
Yeah, college friends.
for an easier way of putting it.
They're your college
Even though I
friends.
didn't go to, yeah, they're my college friends. That group is now just, I mean, they're lifelong friends.
Hmm.
And John is such a kind, loving person. And I couldn't have thought of like a better person for you to have there,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
such a blessing. And
Or one
still,
of, obviously, but you know what I mean.
yeah, I heard, after the fact that the friends you make in college are your friends for life. And I really believe that to this day, they're the friend group I see the most. That's just because we
Yeah.
happen to stay in San Diego. I know that's not the case for most, but we see each other often. So it's really nice. But yeah, college, and then by the time freshman year endured that, I was really enjoying it. San Diego State, such a fun place to be. Still got a good education, but had fun while learning. So I'll keep that. We just had fun.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we did. But yes, so it was a good time, and I'm really grateful for San Diego State because it's what's got me here in San Diego, and I established even next chapters of my life after that. Yeah,
And
that's
then when you graduated, which was also such a cool moment for Hudson and I as friends,
yeah,
just yeah, getting to celebrate that moment with you, with your family, and all of our close friends that we had gained. That was super awesome and emotional. Oh, I bawled my eyes out.
yeah.
And then I did, I bawled my eyes out. And then your next step, I mean, I don't even know where to begin from there, which is like, I guess more so, how did you decide that you wanted to go to law school?
Sure. Yeah. I knew in high school that I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought it fit, for those who don't know, in Philippine culture, there's an expectation that you either be a doctor or a nurse. And I can't even look at my own blood without wanting to pass out. So I knew anything medical related would not be for me. I still get squirmish to this day. I knew that, the analytical skills needed, the attention to detail with being a lawyer, things like that. I knew it'd probably be a good fit. In high school, actually, you know her, our friend Jessie, if you remember, there was a
Mhm.
program in high school where you had to shadow a parent or a career. It's like a career shadow day, but you couldn't do your own parents. And I remember that Jessie Bouillon, who's now also a lawyer, but her dad had this law firm in LA, and I asked her if I could shadow her dad for a day. And I liked it. I liked the verbal sparring aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
But even more just beyond that, I liked, being able, the importance of, it's easy to defend your own points and argue what you believe in, but it was much harder to really listen and effectively respond to an opposing view. And I liked the
Mm.
quickness of, or, the need to reinvent the wheel on the spot. I liked that, it's not really just one way to get to a point. It's you can have multiple ways to get to the outcome that you want, things like that. So I knew it was a good set, and ever since I did that shadow day with his firm, I knew I wanted to go to law school. Yeah, so
I love that.
yeah, I started applying. I took the LSAT my senior year of college, which was hard because studying for a test or a law school entrance exam in your senior year of college, it's difficult because all your friends, you're getting ready to graduate, and there's so much fun happening, but like, you have to get it done. It's kind of like that scene in Legally Blonde. Not to go right away to this movie, but they're all partying and she's in like studying for the LSAT. But yeah, I knew that, because it's not uncommon for people to go straight from college. You can start a career, take a gap year, take a break. But I knew I just wanted to go for it. So I applied, took the LSAT, applied to law schools. The goal was never to stay in San Diego. It really wasn't. I applied all over, but it just so happened that I got into, California Western School of Law, which is in downtown San Diego, and decided to go there. Which was also a big change because SDSU was such it's a big public university, where Cal West or California Western is so small. So it was a big change in that sense. And but yeah, it was good. It
Yeah.
was good. And yeah, I'll stop there if you have any other
No, no,
questions.
you don't have to
But yeah,
keep going.
yes. So, right away started law school, and unlike college, which, had its own challenges, law school was a very difficult 3 years for me. You just learn, you might think that you're pretty smart going into it. You get there, everyone's just as smart, if not smarter, right? And, it was a different curve, and um, just people competing against each other. You find that people aren't as nice, and in a way, I get, right, you want to be successful, but you could still be kind. And it was just hard, and just like the mental challenge of, like, all the classes you have to do and all the laws you have to, it was hard.
I remember you being really stressed, I guess is the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, I was.
And
Yeah.
yeah, you're really stressed, and you were, I feel like at times it almost felt like it was built to break you down.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it not just like, at the end where it's getting more serious and you're prepping to take the bar, but it really just kind of feels like it's built to wear you out and
Yeah.
versus build you up. And that's kind of a bummer. I wonder if that's, more of on purpose as like a conditioning aspect, but it it really felt like a really big mental challenge in a way that's not necessarily always healthy, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. From
Yeah.
from
It was hard.
afar, witnessing that.
Yeah, it was hard, and I think that's where my confidence was so low. Just comparing yourself, it's just like, my colleagues are smarter than me, they're getting these better grades, these better internships, and where do I stand, and like, where's my worth? And sometimes I question, like, am I really cut out for this? But really, with that whole experience, I still remember that quote from Theodore Roosevelt: "Comparison is the thief of joy." And I still struggle with that today, comparing myself to others in all aspects of my life. But there in law school is where I really had to learn, I'm on my own path. Block out the noise. Just do what you need to do to get your JD degree and pass the bar. But it's really difficult when you're surrounded by really intelligent people, and sometimes you just question your own intelligent yourself and really your confidence in all things moving forward. Like I put a lot of weight on what others would think of me when I really shouldn't have. But it's hard. It's hard in that environment.
As a side note, as a friend, I just want you to know that, like, even in those moments where you maybe didn't value yourself as much as you should have, everyone else saw it. I've never questioned it, because I can see how passionate you are in both wanting to just succeed in anything in life, but then also when you end up caring about the things that you want, like a potential career path and that sort of thing. You are just always so much better than you think you are, is I think essentially what I'm trying to say.
Thanks. Yeah. I really torture my own self with my lack of self-confidence. I've said that to you before, but it's like so self-inflicting because I know what I do to myself and I shouldn't. I shouldn't. And that's something I'm working on daily.
It's easy for me to sit here and compliment you because I know how amazing you are. It's not as easy to take a compliment or try and say that to myself. And I think we are just almost wired that way, where it's really hard to see in yourself what you see in other people.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there were, I guess maybe, I don't think I've ever asked you this before. How many women compared to men do you feel like were in your law school? Like, do you think it was fairly even? Do you think it was?
With my cohort, I actually do think it was fairly even.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I think it was even. I think, which was a great thing.
Totally.
Yeah, I think it was even. Yeah. I'm like really looking back.
No, because
yeah,
I remember thinking every time that I would, go to San Diego with you, or like see you after school, or that sort of thing. You had a lot of female lawyer student friends.
Yes.
And I remember thinking that was super cool.
Yeah.
But I also wonder too, did you, and I'm not fishing here, so if it's not, it's not, but did you feel like you had more of a negative opposition from the females, or was it just everybody in your?
No, I think it was across the board competition.
Across the board, just competitive.
Yeah.
No, I'm curious, because it's like women, like
I'm
girls
laughing
in high school, and like.
Yeah. No, it's not like that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely just across the board. It was blind to gender, so it just wanted me to be the best. Yeah, it was good. I mean, yeah, I will say, yeah. I mean, my close girlfriend group, or my close friend group from law school is primarily women, so that's awesome. And just seeing everyone do their own thing, just going. You know most of them actually, so Sasha just knows everyone in all all chapters of my life.
But I mean, all of you went into different directions, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, you all went into different parts. Yeah.
Yes.
And I know that this isn't necessarily, and because we will obviously get into what you do now, but what you initially wanted to do was immigration law.
Yes.
I remember you talking to me that was your initial passion when it came to law.
Yeah, definitely. Just being from a Filipino family and seeing the process it is, the complex process to get citizenship and visas and all that stuff. I was very interested, but also interested in the humanitarian aspect of it, those seeking asylum and those seeking, refuge in our country. I guess it's a good segue to, that was always, my passion and what I wanted to do. It's a good segue to how I got to the Navy and why I do government law. So actually, I think we should talk about the bar first, because then we're doing law school in the bar.
Yes.
Yeah, so after the 3 years, your third year, you study for the notorious California bar exam, which for those who don't know, it is arguably the hardest bar exam.
You graduated first.
Yes, I graduated.
You graduated law school like a badass.
I graduated. And also the fun party. Sasha was front and center, which was so much fun. Not front and center, but I'm so glad you and Hudson were there and just met the world.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. And that was the moment where I slipped on the ice.
Was it?
Yeah, that was you graduated. Your parents took us all out for dinner, and this is so stupid, and
I
has nothing to do with it. But yeah, I was walking upstairs in these heeled boots, totally fine, and they were like black floors. We definitely do not have to put this
Yeah.
in the podcast,
Okay.
but
Yeah. Let's just recap it
it was
anyway.
black. I slipped, and yeah, I spent the rest of the weekend with my ankle on ice. That was cute. Anyway,
Yeah. Anyways, but yes,
yeah.
graduated. We'll see if we keep that. Yes, graduated. Very proud, very, happy day.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
and then
really
you
was.
start, yes, you have your fun, celebrating with your loved ones and your family, and then the next week you start studying for the bar, which again was very difficult, as you know. So I was saying before, California is notoriously one of the hardest ones. It has less than a 40% pass rate. I think it's even lower. I don't know the
I think
exact
I remember you saying like 25% or
20.
20,
Really?
27%.
Yeah, maybe that
Yeah,
year. Yeah. I don't know. I should have looked it up before we started this, but
no,
low,
it's good.
low
Low.
pass rate. Yes. And just this very intense exam. I I was with, so you do, like, there was this bar prep class that the law school offers, and you really do it with the people you just graduated with. And it's a little nerve wracking because you think, wow, like, only one of three will pass the bar, statistically, right?
Yeah.
I like, gave it up my all that summer and what I thought was my all, and I really do believe I did the best. But I ended up failing. And that was extremely difficult. I was angry. I was disappointed. I was really heartbroken, especially when you see, your colleagues and your good law school friends all pass, right? And I just remember feeling so dark and so low and thinking, wow, really questioning everything. And like, am I meant to be a lawyer? Should I do this? Because it's this 2-day exam. It's really intensive. It's like one full day of essays, one full day of multiple choice, and it's just a big strain on your body, mentally and physically. Um, but it was really difficult. That year, I really felt alone. And obviously, I knew I wasn't alone. I had my family, I had you, I had my close friends, but somehow it still felt like it was just you going through it, even though you certainly had colleagues who also failed as well. But I can't explain it. It's like when you have this goal in mind and you think, you're going to pass and you don't. It was very dark. But I studied. It took me a year to pass it. So spoiler alert, I passed it. But I took it again despite, the fear of failing again. And I really was terrified of, okay, well, like, if I take this test, what if I fail again? But you learn quickly, how you beat fear is the purest effort. And I was so sure at that time, that year, it was going to be me studying hard, like God, my family, just like I used to say to myself, like studying in the library, like, with my faith, I'm just like, me, God in the bar, me, God in the bar. That was my whole priority. It's like the whole year. Um, and yeah, I just remember, like, okay, how am I going to overcome this? I have to put in maximum effort. So I knew that I struggled with the multiple choice portion of the test, which, I like read something and I'm like, oh, I'm confident it's this. And then I think it's another one. And then I go back, But I remember towards the last couple of months for the exam, I was doing 200 multiple choice questions a day. And I remember hating my life and thinking, what am I doing? What if I just fail again? Is this worth it? But I really do think in the end it carried me through because I passed.
From a friend perspective, it was really hard to watch you go through that because I could feel how hurt you were.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I had no doubt that you were going to do it. And I think that it's one of those things where you would put, and natural, there's nothing wrong with it, but you would put so much pressure on yourself,
Yeah.
especially the first time to
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
And I think, it was such a mixture of emotions for you. And I don't think that nobody could have helped in that moment.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thankfully you have such a huge and amazing support system, but
Yes.
I completely agree. Like, in that moment, it was you and it was what happened. And obviously people who love you helped.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
And I couldn't have
but
done it without that support. I mean,
for
it
sure, but it's
really,
still you picking yourself up.
yes, absolutely.
And I hope you really do give yourself credit for that,
Yeah.
because you could have easily not, and you could have easily stopped.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is the easier thing to do.
Mhm.
And you didn't do that. Yeah, and I've seen you work harder than I saw you work harder than you'd ever worked before. Didn't know that was possible until you did it. um,
Possible, for sure.
and and it was just it was such a like I remember we were planning our wedding too. Like it was such a crazy time, and
It
it
was.
was such a incredible relief, I think, for everyone who loved you too.
Yeah. Oh,
It's just
yeah.
like, oh, you know what I mean? Just because it's like we're vicariously living through this hard experience, and we just want you.
Man.
We just know you will. We just want it to happen. And when you passed, it was like, oh thank God, yes, yeah. Like
The
now we
victory
take.
was so sweet. It
It
felt
was
that
very sweet,
everybody else passed with me. That's
and that's
really
the
had it
perfect.
how it felt.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
the
awesome.
perfect way to put it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, definitely, I just want to go back that law school throughout the bar, really trying years and really tested everything I thought I knew. Um, but I'm glad I did it and I feel, very grateful. Success, obviously, if I passed the first time, that would have been great and be awesome. But that failure was such a great teacher. And I think I learned it's better that I had that experience because now in my life with difficult challenges or when things deviate from what I think was supposed to happen or how it's supposed to be, I'm much more, much more I'm not as afraid anymore. Really,
Yes.
truly. I know it will work out and you arrive where you are meant to be when you are meant to be there. And I trust in that. So thank you, California bar exam.
Yeah, that was such an intense
Yeah.
ride, and I didn't even do it. But I was just, yeah, I mean, I am, and I was so proud of you because it was apparent how difficult it was, and you, I know, had a really hard time through that, but um, you still carried it with so much grace. Like
Oh,
there's
man,
just
I
something
hope
about the
so.
way that you go through trials, and I've seen you go through a lot of them. The
Yeah.
way that you move through trials is quite amazing, because I mean, grace is the word that comes to mind, but it really is like you you're so beautiful in the way that you handle life. Um
Gosh,
and no, you really are. Like
feel similar. Thanks.
I just, yeah, I love how much you've grown, and watching you grow has really been an honor. And the fact that I can say that, well, yeah, let's continue. See, this
Yes.
is my
See,
problem
this
again.
is
It's
gonna
like
be a
usually,
3-hour podcast.
well, I'm usually way more structured than this, but I knew I was just going to get into
It's
trouble with
hard.
this podcast because,
Yes.
yeah. So now this
He
just
did
feels
warn me.
messy on my end. Yeah, I know. I'm like, I
We're
feel
just chatting.
unprepared in the most prepared way because
Yes.
I know all of this information. But,
Likewise, BBF.
oh, well, actually, do you want to talk a little bit about where you first started working after passing the bar?
Yeah, yeah. So actually you take the bar in July, but you don't find out until November. So you have to wait 4 months for the results, which adds to the stress. But I remember a friend from law school was working for the Navy and she was in contracts and she said, "Hey, like, this is a great job for people with law degrees. It's a good job. But I knew I wanted to work in the field as a lawyer. She's like, you should take this job. So it was like kind of a blessing that I still, it was not kind of a blessing. It was a blessing that we still kept in contact because that was back, when I was still in law school. She's like, hey, if you ever, are interested, let me know. All these years later, I reached out to her. I said, "Hey, I'm mid bar results right now, but I would really like to start working for the Navy, and if that opportunity is still available, I would love to, apply and be a part of it. So I gave her my resume, and, one thing led to another, and I got hired, and I started working in contracting. At in a Navy base in Point Loma, and it was great. I mean, it was, drafting the contract. It was procurement. So you draft, essentially what it is you're drafting the contracts for all the services and supplies that the Navy warfare might need. So that's everything from, procuring cables and technology for the ships or the airplanes themselves, or that's the services, right? Like the engineering labor that needs to be done to make these ships and submarines and all that stuff war ready. And I really liked it, and it was good. At there, really, um, I really enjoyed working for the Navy because, my dad is retired Navy, my brother is a captain in the Army, and I knew I wanted to follow and serve in a similar way without being active duty, without actually having to do them. I'm
That
kind of
is
kidding.
so funny. That's like a really funny picture for me.
Yeah.
Just
Ask
thinking
Jacob. He'll
about you.
say it's hilarious himself.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
But as a civilian capacity, in a civilian capacity, it's perfect. And I love our country, and I love to serve in this way. So when I was at that base, I met the inspector general of that base, and he was a fellow attorney. And he really like took me under his wing and became my mentor and said, "Hey, I think you'd be a good fit for the inspector general's office." And after mentoring with him, and I knew I wanted to transition. So, contracting's more transactional. Here, you're doing at the inspector general's office, you're doing a little bit more investigations, a little bit more inspections sort of stuff. Yeah, so I applied to a job at the Inspector General's office, and now I'm the Inspector General for Naval Base Coronado.
Which
Um,
is just so I would just I thought it was cool when you became just in general that you were a lawyer for the Navy. And then when you were applying for inspector general positions, I was like, are you fucking kidding? This is insane. When you got an
yeah,
inspector general
yeah,
position, I feel like I almost freaked out more than you did because
yeah.
I just want to reiterate, Jai-Lynne just turned 30. In general, I was just so proud of you. You forgot to mention when you become an inspector general, you get your own office.
Yeah. Yes, yes. I didn't have that idea, but yes.
Yes. And now you have an even bigger office,
Yes.
which I
So
know this
big.
sounds silly, but like Jai-Lynne just turned 30.
Mhm.
She's accomplished, I'm talking like you're not here. She's
Yeah.
accomplished so much in that 30-year period. And the fact that she is an inspector general for the
Yeah.
Navy with a giant office with her name on the door, um,
Yes.
is such a proud, like, best friend moment. Like, it just
Oh,
makes me
thanks.
so proud because I know how difficult that journey was for you,
Yeah.
and you deserve to be where you are. And it's just, I don't know, it's so cool to have your best friend work so hard and then achieve all of these incredible things before she's even 30. And look at you,
That
you're
is how
inspector
I
general at 30.
feel. Thank you, BBF. But that's exactly how I feel with you. Every time I see your name
Oh,
listed on screen, we'll get to that. We have to talk about you too, but that's exactly how I
thanks.
feel about you. So thank you. So just a little bit more background, because I'm sure people are like, "What's the Inspector General's office?"
Yeah.
But yeah, so our office, we are independent of the command. So our primary role is to advise the commanding officer of the base. So he's kind of like, so think of each military base as a little America, and the commanding officer, he is mayor, okay? He owns it. He commands everything that happens, depending on the mission. So I work hand in hand with the captain, and really I perform these independent, unbiased investigations on fraud, waste, abuse, inappropriate behavior. I also, conduct these inspections on his command operations. So I see where the deficiency lies, where can there be improvement, and recommend courses of action. So it is really cool. I love it. I feel so empowered in this position. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I guess also another question would be, how does it feel then to be? Are you the only woman in your office?
I'm not this house. I'm not. But I'm one of three out of the leadership team, the department heads. There's about 15 of us, and there's only three women. Being younger, and I am the youngest. I am the youngest leadership role department head in that room. It is. I do sometimes feel like I have to work a little harder to show that I'm meant to be there. It shouldn't be that way. I'm not saying that I'm accepting it for what it is, but it does feel that way. Just trying to show people that I deserve to be here, when really, people should already know that I, yeah, I earned this.
Yeah.
But it is hard, working through that. But that's where I go back to what I believe in, like what I stand for and what I know I can do. Um, just really valuing myself in that perspective. And, at the end of the day, if people don't want to believe what I have to bring, or if they don't like me, or they don't, trust me, whatever, for whatever it may be, that's on you. At the same time,
Yeah.
I'll do what I do. And
Yeah. You're doing your
hopefully
job.
we can work together. And I'm not saying that it's so adversarial at the meetings, or like in this work environment, but it is hard, and it's a challenge to be a female, a woman minority, in a room that's so rooted in history. But it's good. I think it's little steps like this that help show. It's like, okay, what perspective can you bring?
Hmm.
How can you change and make things even better? Because I do think things are better when more females are in the room. So just bring a different
Yeah.
perspective to it all. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And in so many ways, you're paving the way through that.
Yeah.
Not only do you deserve to be there, not only do you have a lot to bring to the table. Thank goodness for people that saw that in you and hired you to that position. But you and so many other women are the ones to pave that way to
Yes.
yeah to even it out
Yes.
and really get to a place where it's not a surprise or
Yes.
it's not um, like it's an achievement always, but a giant achievement to be that
Mhm.
in the room where it should just be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you're just one of, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. And
Because
the recognition that, with sensitive topics, right? It's just so much more to be said when you have a female in the room. Some things are just more comfortable, when a female wants to voice an area that's probably not the best for a male to hear first.
yeah,
And with that, I'm just talking broadly, like, issues of sexual harassment, or, inappropriate behavior. You'd feel more comfortable, I believe, if I was communicating that and confiding in a fellow woman. Um,
yeah,
and that's something, little things like that overall benefit the command.
right.
Yeah. So things like that. Yes,
Well,
but
I'm so proud of you.
thanks, BBF. Yes. Yes, I'm proud of myself. It's been a long journey to get here, but I'm happy that I finally arrived. So it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I just know that this is still feels like just the beginning for you. Um,
Yeah.
and is there, you know, obviously you're happy with what you're doing. Is this something that you see in your long-term plan? Are there things that you want, other things you want to accomplish in your career? Do you want to continue into immigration, or you just
I'm just taking it day by day, right? I just, got promoted to Cornell, I said recently. So I'd like to see
yeah,
that, really establish roots and, gain more experience, become more seasoned in my career there. But, I'll take it as the opportunities come, go with it. And if it's the right fit, then it's the right fit. Obviously, always looking for opportunities, what's best for my career, how do I grow, I'm sure I don't supervise anyone right now, but a supervisory role in the future. But right now, I'm really happy and just living in the present. in my career. Again, only 30, right?
It's so crazy. Do you have any advice on a couple of things, on how to kind of balance your priorities, how to manage, your personal life and your work life,
Mhm.
and maybe even just handling some of those situations that might seem uncomfortable at the time.
Sure. Just kind of like balancing work and
Yeah.
personal life. Yeah, I think, I very much value the relationships I have, whether, it's with my family, like with my boyfriend, with friends. I very much like to make that a priority because that's the support system that you have. I think luckily I will say I have a job, so I work for the Navy, so it's not like your classic law firm where you have billable hours. So in a sense, I inherently have a lot more freedom in my position. But regardless of that, I think it's just important to make sure you're prioritizing your work, your life outside of work, because work is only, a small part of your identity. It's really what lies out, that carries you through. Um, Life gets so busy, right?
Yeah.
People are entering new chapters of their lives. But what I like to do is, just really just texting, reaching out to that person and saying, hey, are you free on this day? And setting up like a monthly dinner date. And I do that with almost all of my friends. When we have a dinner date, this is where, we're going to catch up. We're going to dedicate 1 or 2 hours every month just to connect. And what works for me is, when we're at that date, we're already taking out the calendars and what's our next date, and I do that with you. Are you
Yeah.
free on this date? That stuff. And I really do think it's important to invest in your relationships outside of work because work will take you so far, yes, in one certain avenue of success. But it's really when you want to share your joy or when you need encouragement or you just need someone to be there and you're looking for connection, it's really those relationships that will carry you through. So
Yeah.
just prioritizing however way you want to do it. That's how I do it. A phone call, which is a lost art, which is unfortunate, but
So
a
true.
phone
Yeah.
call does the same trick and or the same value, provides the same value. Yeah. So just really making sure you prioritize your loved ones around you, your family, which is blood, and chosen family you choose, which is you. So
Yeah.
one example is you, Sash. So yeah.
Do you think that there's yeah, I mean, I guess what would you say to, like, you know, your younger self? I hate this question and love this
No,
question
no,
because I get this question a lot and I never quite know how to answer it, but so no pressure, but
no, yeah. Let
I'm
me,
interested.
what I would say to my younger self now, being able to obtain some of my dreams, being a lawyer and working for the Navy, I would say really focus on who you really are. Your inner core, your inner self, what you stand for, what your principles in life are. Are you an encouragement to others? Are you kind to people? Do you talk highly of other people? Those are the things really internally that I feel, go beyond any worldly title, attorney, actress, because that's what matters, right? Strip all the titles. What is your impact on your world to other women, to other people? In law school, they say, day one, they tell you your reputation starts now. And I hold
Hmm.
that so near and dear to my heart. And it's true. People may not remember what award you got or what case you won, but they'll remember if you were nice, if you were an encouragement, how you made them feel, things like that.
Yeah.
So I would tell my younger self in the midst of going, wanting to be an attorney, doing whatever it took to get there, to make sure you're make sure you're working on yourself internally, make sure you're growing in the right ways, because
Yeah.
that's really is what is important in life. That's what I would say. Sorry,
That's
long-winded answer, but
No, I love that.
you
And I
know,
love that that's what they told you in law school. That
yes,
is
reputation starts now.
that I think is something that can be used throughout life. I don't think that people really, I think because the world is so intertwined, and
Hmm.
we don't, often anyway, I feel like I can definitely say this in my industry and obviously in
Yeah,
yours, but you don't realize how your paths might cross later.
exactly.
I mean, I've been in my industry for over 23 years,
Yes.
and it is crazy how the business is intertwined.
Hmm.
And you don't realize that that one person that you are mean or nice to, how they might affect your career later. And not to say
Exactly.
that that's the only reason that you should be nice to people. That's not,
No, yes.
obviously not. But
Yeah.
that idea of like your reputation starts now is, it's so true, and it's so important, and ultimately you have to, sleep with yourself at night. Like, you should go to
Yes.
bed and be okay and happy with what you've put out
Yeah.
there in the world.
Are you
um
proud of who you are at the end of the day? And not to say that you'll be proud every day. That's certainly not what I'm trying to say.
no,
Just,
yeah,
are you working to be the kind of person that would make a positive impact in the world, and to others? So, yeah, that's what I would tell my younger self, because there's in that law school journey, I was so focused on just obtaining this title when I forgot all the little things. I don't think I was an unpleasant or mean person. I don't think that, but
I was just gonna say, I'd like to interject and say that I think sometimes your fault is being too nice.
yeah, I would say the same for you, Sash. I would say the same.
Thanks.
We're aligned in
I'm
that.
working on it. But that is something that, like, you've always been such a kind person. Yeah, you've always looked out for other people, been, empathetic and compassionate towards other people and their feelings. And I know we were talking briefly about, maybe, thinking, or people's opinion meaning sometimes too much to you, what they think about you and what they think about other things. But I think that it's both a strength and a weakness, and in many ways it's a strength on your part.
Yeah.
um and I value that in you, because, you're just, not just because you're someone that I've known for so long, but because I trust you completely. I know that I could tell you anything. And I think it's so important to find those people in your life, especially, so I guess you, are my longest and closest girlfriend. And before, though, like, I never realized how important female friendships were. You were always there, and I knew, and I know that you will always be there. But as far as like a community of women, I was just kind of like, because I just never really connected with women on the same level
Yes.
besides you. And as I got older, which is, one of the reasons I started this podcast, I realized, not just because of becoming a mom, that's a huge part of it, but just as a woman, there are certain things you just can't tell guys.
Yeah.
Or you can, and there are amazing men out there, my husband being one of them, but there are just certain things that they just won't understand. And I'm sure this, applies for them too. There are certain things that men can tell us that we can do our best to, but we can't actually understand. And I think maintaining and collecting, if you will, strong, beautiful people internally, no matter if they're, male or female, but in this case female, is so vital.
Mhm.
um because of just, I mean, we make each, or we should anyway, make each other stronger.
Yes.
um and yeah, and community is just so important through everything in life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do what I've done without you. And just that support system is just so, it's just so valuable,
Sash, I feel very similarly, almost, exactly the same. I just want to share that, if you don't mind me sharing, a lot
Of
of
course.
what gave me hope was just like seeing firsthand your journey in this industry, right? As someone who personally drove you to a lot of auditions.
It's true. It's
So,
true.
um,
Yeah.
uh, I saw the effort that you put in to memorize the lines, really play the part, do the audition, only to find out that, they went in another direction. And I remember you, just being hard, just disappointed, as one
Yeah.
would be if you applied for something and you didn't get it. And I just remember like you always remained positive. You knew, even though it was hard, that it's all right, because there's something better out there for me. And after even that time, I want to bring this up because I was so proud. But Pretty Little Liars was huge. And had you have gotten those other pilots or those other shows, which you won't mention, what you applied for,
Yeah.
who would have known if PLL would have happened? So
Yeah.
you were really being led to that script and that time. But that just gave me hope. Just, you know, it really applies in any industry, in almost any industry, law, the entertainment industry. It's hard work, but you have to keep trying, and you have to be, surrounding yourself with people who encourage you. And ultimately, like, when you're accomplishing your dreams, it makes it so much sweeter when you're with the
Yeah.
people who supported and encouraged you. So I just wanted to share that part, that you were a
Thank
big
you.
part of me keeping the faith, really, that it would all work out, when it was meant to, alongside hard
Thank you.
work. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, we've been through a
A
lot of
lot,
life
a lot, a
stuff together.
lot.
A lot
Yes.
of life stuff
Yeah.
together, to put it very lightly.
Yes.
But yeah, you've been through auditions with me, you've been through
Mhm.
premieres and travel, and I
Yeah.
mean,
And
we've
one
done
thing
it
I
all, so
want
it's
to
nice.
add, that I feel that, listeners might not know, but Sash is so humble. She's obtained, I'm gonna cry talking about this, because I just love this. Sash, not that there's, this is true of all of Hollywood, but there's this reputation that Hollywood would have, just like maybe better than someone, or just, I'm too highly high up here to talk to fans. But Sasha will talk. You won't even know Sasha's famous, in the sense that she talks to you as if, she's just like your neighborly friend down the street. Like, I really love that about you. Your
You're
fame,
making me
your success.
cry.
I know, I'm gonna cry.
Thanks, Julia.
I think there's something to be said, just going back of, Sasha's gotten this huge show, is doing so well movie wise and going in the next career. But what my friends, what my family knows, is that kind, sweet person. And that's what you are, Sash.
Thanks,
And I just
Julia.
love you. And I love you. And
I love you so much.
yes, you're the
You were with me
best.
the first time I got recognized.
Yes.
I
Can
get
we share?
it's. I don't remember which one came first. It was with you. One was with you. One was with my parents. But
Yeah.
I think it was yours first.
Mhm.
I was shocked. We were shopping at Macy's.
Yes. Yes, we were.
We were shopping at Macy's, and definitely not buying anything.
Listen.
Just looking, doing what we
Just
would
looking
do,
as.
and it was totally what we were doing too. Um, and these two girls came up and shoved a phone in your face. To be fair,
Yes. Yes.
that was we were so confused because I didn't know we didn't know what was happening because I wasn't expecting to be recognized. Someone just shoved a phone in Jay-Lynne's face and was like, "Take it."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh,
Take a
what?"
picture. I was like, oh, so this is the encounter. But I remember
uh,
being, yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, no!
No,
I thought it was funny. I just remember both of us being like, "What was that? What just
what was
happened?"
that? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think the second time I was actually with your parents, it was in front of the movies. Remember? Because that was the
yeah.
summer that the premiere came out, and
All the
your face was
posters were, yeah,
everywhere, baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was so
One of
weird.
my favorite things, or what, always gets me, is like, oh, like, how do you know Sash? Like, how, it's like, oh, did you meet her on that? They're confused. Like, how could I possibly know a celebrity? But no,
It's
I just
okay.
love to say it goes beyond. It goes way earlier than, the success she's had. And that's what's great. You are my best friend. And I'm just so, we've just gone through a lot. But yeah, it's like, no, I've known her before she was famous. Okay. But yes, it's just so funny. It's like, how do you know her? It's
Yeah,
still pretty
we
cool
were.
though,
I
too.
mean,
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go.
Yeah, but I'm just so grateful. I mean, you're so down to earth, Sash, and you have just positive light. People will across the board, as anyone who knows you will say the same thing. You you don't act famous, and I mean that in the sense that you were so grounded. You know what I mean?
This isn't supposed
Not
to
that
be
I
about
know a
me.
lot of famous people, but
This podcast is not supposed to be about me.
it's a conversation between both
Just a
of us.
conversation.
So
Yeah.
we could
Yeah,
probably cut
and
some
I
of
do.
this out.
Yeah.
Just our love fest to each other.
Our love fest, yeah. Well,
Hudson's gonna edit
I want
this
other
and be
women to.
like,
I know he's gonna be like, this is ridiculous. Regardless, I ask everybody this question,
okay,
so of course I have to ask you.
okay,
What makes you feel sexy?
okay. Right off the bat, I will say, as you know, I really like dressing up, and I really dressing up in a sense that I really invest in how I style myself and how I want to, express myself with my clothing. As Sash, with my fellow, a lot of it's inspired
Yes.
by Sash.
Oh, okay,
So
whatever.
I'm
Go.
just, no, it's true. Do want to add this. Sash, being 5'6", what, so 5, 6 inches taller than me. Thank goodness we have the same shoe size.
We do. We do share
I
shoes.
wore
Yeah.
Sasha's shoes so many times. So thank goodness, and she has great style. Just to go back to that though, I like dressing up and I like expressing myself with clothes. I'm a firm believer, and this is just me. I'm not saying it's, for everyone, but for me, it's like when you look good, you feel good, you do
Yeah.
good work, and I really believe in that for myself. I dress up for me. I have some friends of mine, it's like, oh, we're just going here. Why are you so dressed up? Or, when I'm meeting with people and you do what are you wearing? And I say, oh, I'm going casual. And then I show up and apparently it's not that casual.
Jayla's
you know,
casual versus
you know
other
what I
people's.
mean,
Yeah.
Sasha.
Yeah, I do. Well, but
um,
I love it.
yeah, exactly. And I like it and it makes me happy. It's a passion of mine, fashion. It's for me, but and that makes me feel sexy. When I leave the house and feeling that I'm confident in what how I'm presenting myself. But when other people notice the effort and you get a compliment on it and they
Hmm.
say something very nice, of course, I that means so much to me and that makes me feel
Yeah.
sexy as well. It's nice to know that your effort and how you feel that you should dress up is recognized, and I
Yeah.
love that. This is just another side part of my philosophy. The reason why I like to always try to look that I don't even know what the word is. Just dress up. I'll just
On
say dress up.
trend, fashionable.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like I
No, you
can't
dress
catch
up.
up with these Gen Z trends.
Oh my gosh, that's a whole. Yeah. Well, what are you talking about? We're just going back to when we were in the 90s, but yes.
Yeah, so true.
Go back, go back.
But I was just gonna say, I'm also just like a firm believer in how I show myself to, the world and how I express myself. I'm firmly, you never know who you're going to see, and I don't mean
Right.
that in any other way other than that could be a connection work wise, if it's you're single, relationship wise, friendship wise. But again, I think it kind of stems from the reputation. It's like, oh, do you remember that person who looked put
Right.
together, who showed herself in this way? And I think that's really a driving factor as well. You just never know what life will bring you at any given day. Should it
Yeah.
even be the grocery store? Got to be ready.
You gotta be ready. So what I love about that answer, there's a couple things that I want to
Yeah.
like point out. Um, the easy thing is you always look great, and I know that you put care into it, and it's still in a very effortless way. Like you
Mhm.
are always fresh. I think that's a good like way of
Oh,
every
thanks,
time. Yeah, and
man.
I've seen you in
Mm.
your sweatpants. I've seen you in your PJs, but like when we go out, I really do love that, like, yeah, you care. And
Yeah.
it's not in like a conceited way. You just
No.
it makes you feel good. I can tell that there's like good energy there. But there's something that you said I loved because it ended up being a two-part answer to your question.
Oh,
One,
what
which
did I say?
was that that it makes you feel good, that you dress up for you, that you want to feel presentable. You want, what you put out into the world to be something that you feel good about. But then you also said And then if you get a compliment or somebody notices, that makes you feel sexy too. And I love that those are two separate things.
Yes.
It makes you feel sexy, in our, whatever sense of that word, whatever definition you have of that word. I love that so many people have different definitions of it. Most of the time it's not sexual at all.
Yeah.
But yes, that makes you feel sexy to get ready and to be, ready for the world. But then also, if not when or only if somebody verbally notices or says something in that way, that is also nice. And I think it's cool that those are two separate things.
Oh, totally. At the end of the day, if no one sees me in the outfit, it was still for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's what it should be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I definitely Hudson has started the trend of we're not very good at it yet, but we try. We go through phases. Yeah. We go through phases. He'll laugh when he hears this. Where it's like, oh, some weeks, or not even weeks, some days we're like, yeah, let's get ready for the day. It's your turn. It's my turn. We'll be ready for the day.
Yeah.
And we stick to that for maybe 3 days tops.
Yeah.
And then it just doesn't happen anymore. But it's because we're always home and we're like, do we want to get out of our sweatpants? Or do we,
if we're talking about home, that's a whole different ballgame.
I know, but you go, not always, but you go into the office or you go out. We are usually in, unless we're I feel like ours is very hot and cold, where it's either we are traveling and we are always needing to be, quote unquote on.
Yeah.
Or seeing people doing things, being, out in public, or we are just at home and it's bare essential, bare necessities.
Yes.
Oh, it's 2 p.m. I should brush my teeth, sort of a thing. But I know that I have to be honest, being at home, I couldn't care less whether I brushed my hair or not.
Of course, that's your
state. But it matters to Hudson, for himself. I mean, not me. I'm sure it matters to him too if I brush my hair or not. But for himself, it matters to him. It makes him feel better.
Yes.
If he's gotten ready for the day.
Absolutely.
I don't know why that doesn't necessarily apply to me. I don't feel I feel that way per se when we're at home, but I definitely understand and feel you on the when I go out.
Yeah.
That effort and it does make you feel better. Now again, long-winded. This is what my podcast is.
This is what it is. Hopefully there's still listeners at this point, but if not,
hopefully people are still listening. If not, I'm doing it for me. So, Bibia, thank you so much for joining me on Women in the Nude. It's long overdue.
Yes, very long overdue, but I'm glad we got to do it.
Okay. I love you so much.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on another empowering episode of Women in the Nude. The conversation doesn't stop here. Stay connected with us by following us on Instagram, Women in the Nude Podcast, for behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, thought-provoking quotes, and updates on upcoming episodes. Subscribe to us on YouTube for full-length video podcasts, Sasha Pieterse, as well as visiting our website, Women in the Nude Podcast, for more resources and past episodes. Thank you for joining us on this naked journey to wellness and self-love. Remember, vulnerability is strength, and by sharing our stories, we empower each other. Special thanks to my amazing producer, Hudson Sheaffer, aka my hot husband, for making this podcast possible.